Welcome to the podcast. I'm your host, Catherine Ramirez, and you're listening to Here's to You. I'm on a mission to talk about interesting things to help inspire you to make what you want in life welcomed. Now, today is going to be a little bit different. I don't have a guest, and it's just going to be a really cool, intimate conversation between you and me. So let's get down to it. I went to my Instagram and I asked you guys, what do you want me to talk about? You gave me some awesome questions and topics that I can't wait to dive into. Thank you so much for giving me all this great questions that I can create really awesome content around. And if you haven't already, please follow me on Instagram. My Instagram name is Balancing Lipstick, one word, no funny spelling. It's spelled exactly how it sounds. All right, so let's get down to this first question. Perla Haxma, I hope I'm saying that right, Perla, asked how to balance work and creative life. I think this is a great question, something I'm always interested in other people. How do they balance their work, life, routine, right? There's a lot of good information out there, but I'm going to tell you what I've come up with and what's been working for me. So what I do first is make sure my home life is really easy to manage because I don't want to be spending too much time on things I don't need to be spending too much time on. What I did is I decluttered. I did the Marie Kondo, that fine art of tidying up, and I tidied up my place and I got rid of so much unnecessary things and I donated a lot to Goodwill. It makes life a lot easier and it helps me to not focus on things that are pretty, that should be kind of mindless, like cleaning up and clothes and what to do with all this unnecessary junk. Oprah said it should take about 15 minutes to tidy up, and I wanted to live that kind of life. So I decluttered, and it has made my life so much easier. So we got our home life, cool. Now, how do we work our week? Now, I have a day job, and so I'm juggling day job and also these creative outlets. What I do is I have to-do list for the week. I don't really pride myself on how many hours I put into a project because I'm here to work smarter, not harder, okay? It's 2019. Let's optimize our life. Have a to-do list. When I'm trying to get these tasks done throughout the week, I time myself while doing them. So I give myself 20 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour, and it has been so helpful. I have been surprised of what I can get done in 20 minutes. I do allow myself some wiggle room. Sometimes things take longer, but for the most part, I'm pretty good about tackling things once I put a time limit to them. I'm just a lot more focused. I say, okay, I can spend 30 minutes on this thing without distractions or trying to not quote unquote multitask because I'm always kind of listening to podcasts or a show or a movie in the background. But when I'm trying to get things done, I just solely work on the project and I get things done really fast. I also learn a lot about myself. I learn how I work. I learn how long things take. It's really interesting. It helps me create my to-do list in the future. So I have had great success from doing the timing tasking. Okay. Now for the rest of the week, I do give myself like about 2 days, 1 or 2 days to get things done outside of my creative outlets and my day job. I gotta have a day where I get errands done, go to the grocery store, and I do allow time in the week for exercise, at least twice a week. I really want to do 3 times a week, but sometimes I can't get to it. It's really important to exercise and meditate, especially if you're juggling a lot of things. If you're creating, you want your brain to be in its healthiest state. So it's so important to exercise because that is really going to have help you get a healthy brain by just having overall physical health and mental health with meditation. Meditation is really awesome. There's a lot of great apps. Calm is the one that I use, and it's guided meditation. It is awesome. Really, really awesome, because you do need time during the week. You should honestly do it every day. It's good if you give yourself like 10 minutes every day to just meditate, decompress, because when you're juggling a lot of things, it's very stressful. And we don't want you to be stressed. I don't want to be stressed. And I get the best work done when I'm happy and, just feeling my best. So give yourself time for meditation, exercise, and know you got to forgive yourself. Know the reality of things, that, sometimes everything's going to go as planned, but no, if it doesn't, you have the time to do it. We got the rest of our lives. You can do it. So forgive yourself. Go easy on yourself, guys. The last thing I will say, so we have a tidy home, so it's easy for us to clean, get in and out, so we can spend more time on our creative stuff and exercising and things we got to do. We have our to-do list. I'm timing my task. I'm understanding how I work because of it. And lastly, I would say, for when you're in like a funk, or, you're not like, you're tired, where you're like tired, it's the end of the day, and you don't feel really motivated to get up and start working on your creative projects that you set out for yourself. It is so good to have a core value, like a thesis for why you're creating. For me, it's, I want to contribute to the world, and I want to spread compassion. And the only way I know how to do that is by creative outlets like these, creating content like the podcast, and writing songs. I want to, open people's minds up, at least, give them a light to show their gifts. And if we love ourselves, and it's easier to love everybody else. We could go on and on about it, right? But anyways, my goal is to spread compassion, and that's something that can always motivate me when I'm feeling lazy. I say that to myself, and it makes me want to get up and start creating. So I hope that answered your question, Perla. I hope that, for me, that kind of factors in everything to have a balanced life, So good luck to you, Perla. She's got a really cool blog, and I'll put it in a link down below. And it's so beautiful, so beautiful. She's got great pictures on the blog. Yeah. Okay, let's talk about another question. So this other question was submitted by the opposite of B. He asked, why can't I find it? Okay, here it is. How do you make a podcast from start to finish? Take us from conception to publishing. Great question, opposite of B. Now, I gotta say, I know I'm new to this, so my advice could probably change in a year. But for me, I always wanted to do a podcast, and I've been wanting to do it for a couple of years. And finally, I just said, okay, I've been thinking about this for so long. I've been wanting to do it. I just need to just give it a shot. And you'll be surprised what you get out of it. I'm having a great time. I'm having a fantastic, fabulous time here. So I would say, make sure you have like a theme. Obviously, we got a theme here. We're talking about inspiring you guys, lifting people up. I heard a lot of advice when it comes to creating podcasts to have a very specific topic or theme. So to each their own, whatever you want to do. If you just like bantering with your friends, I mean, you're doing the podcast for you. So whatever feels right. So let's talk about publishing. So what I do is publish my podcast on my website, which is through Squarespace. Squarespace has made it so easy for me. Really, it's pretty simple, very user-friendly. So I publish them through the podcast. I publish the podcast through the website. And then it automatically goes through iTunes because I set it up that way. How do I set it up that way? I do it by submitting my podcast to iTunes. It's super easy, guys. You go to podcast, and then there's a link to submit podcast to iTunes, and you put in this like special URL. It's like a RSS feed URL, which is something you kind of have to like mold together to get. And that's your website. So you put that in, you make a picture that's like a perfect square. So a little, that was new to me. That was kind of tedious. But bada bang, bada boom. In a couple of days, I was ready to go. I haven't submitted on Spotify or SoundCloud, and that is coming soon. So if you wanted an updated version, I'll tell you about that. But it's pretty easy. What was I going to say? So we're talking about podcasts and stuff. Let's see. Oh, yeah. Equipment. Let's talk about equipment for a second. So I'm using a Focusrite interface right now. And I have this because I do music stuff, right? But those first couple of episodes, I didn't want to lug all this around because I still was getting used to it. And because it had been a while since I recorded anything, I used one of those tiny little microphones that you see like pinned to people's shirts, like when they're getting interviewed and stuff, like on TV. You can buy those on Amazon for like $15. So affordable. It plugs into your headphone jack in your phone, so you can record really high quality voice memos and create them as podcasts. I plugged it into my laptop, and it did the job. It did a great job, in my opinion. I like how it turned out. I mean, I like this quality a lot better, but it's okay to make it easy on yourself. You're starting out, just keep it simple, man. We're just here to have a conversation. We don't have to have all the fancy gadgets and everything. So you can go to Amazon and get yourself a sweet deal on a tiny little microphone. So I hope that you make a podcast opposite of B. I know you're thinking about it. You're asking me all these questions. So good luck to you. I hope you make it. And feel free to ask me to be a guest. I'm down. Depending on what you talk about. I don't want to, prematurely set myself up for something I might not want to do. Okay, so, well, guys, I think that's it. I think that's all I want to get to today. Thank you so much for your questions and topics. Oh my gosh, I forgot about something. I'm just going to say it. Who cares if it's out of order? I totally forgot. Hey, if you want to figure out when's the best time for you to create when you're working on your work creative life balance, I'm going to link a questionnaire down below that is a peer-reviewed questionnaire. Sleep doctors use it to determine if you're an evening person or a night person. It's really cool how they figured this out. If you're an evening person, if you're a morning person, your temperature peaks earlier in the day than an evening person. It's so crazy. That's how you can measure your circadian rhythm that way. So they came up with this questionnaire called the Eveningness Morningness Questionnaire, and you can learn a little more about yourself, and hopefully that can help you on your journey. I took the questionnaire, and because I was really curious. I don't know if I'm an evening person or a morning person. I feel like maybe I'm like a little more of an evening person, but also I love working in the morning. I love morning time. It's like that crisp air. The sunshine in the morning is the best to me. I freaking love it. So I did this questionnaire, and I'm like smack dab in the middle. You can actually score you're neither a morning person or an evening person. So that's what I was. I'm neither a morning person or an evening person, and that's probably why I forgot to talk about it. But you might not be. So if you want to find out a little more about yourself, go take that quiz. And I'll link a couple of other features, or stuff for being productive. Oh yeah, the Tim Ferriss stuff. I'll link that. So yeah, don't forget to look at the comments or the description on this stuff. Okay. Well, thank you so much, guys, for listening in and making it to the end. I hope you have a wonderful day. Thanks for all the questions and the topics. So until next time, guys, thank you so much. Here's to you. I'm cheersing with water. I just have a little bit left. I know that's bad luck, but I'm trying to be hydrated. All right, guys, thank you so much. I'll talk to you next time. Bye.